there. But let's try another conversation now. And definitely, we know everyone's in that festive mood right now. So if you're not investing, then you're definitely doing, the dirty December, which involves spending, at this point. Let's find out, how the, restaurant demand is looking, this season. We know some people like to eat out, when you're not in the mood to, cook at home. You like that whole ambience, out there. Maybe it's a cute, quick service restaurant. Let's try and get Mr. Dr. Oluwatoyin Tajudeen. He's the CEO, Integrated Catering, the owner of Promise Restaurant chain. Joining me also via Zoom. Good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Thank you very much, Ladi. I can hear you loud and clear.
Fantastic,
Thank you for bringing me onto this program.
It's great to have you, sir. And compliments of the season. Definitely, as I said before, some people like to eat out, during, seasons like these, and some could also enjoy, having that lunch or dinner at home, cooking up a feast and all of that. But break it down for me. You run a restaurant in Port Harcourt, I believe. What's the demand like, this season? Are people, rushing into your restaurant to, have that special meal with their family?
Yes, definitely, Ladi. The tempo of demand has really heightened up. To be very honest with you, when you talk about Lagos, next place is Port Harcourt. Then maybe you start considering Abuja. Rivers people love good life. So all restaurants, lounges, hotels in Rivers are really, because we prepared, we are really geared up to receive as many guests as possible. And things are really, really looking up good. The patronage is on the high side, and I can really tell you, it's been really, really very good. So a lot of activities has been lined up, events, book launch, memorial services, funerals. So the bookings has really, really, really been stepped up. So I can say categorically for the hospitality industry, the good times are here.
Yeah, good times. And, definitely with good times, that means more profits, for you guys at this point. But during the festive season, for you, which categories generate the most revenue? Is it, rice dishes? Is it grills? Is it soups? Or is it pastries?
Okay, so the one that drives sales mostly is rice and chicken. Nigerians love rice. They love chicken. We are not a potato eating nation. We are a rice eating nation. So as much as possible, the sales of rice and chicken drives up sales in most of the restaurants across the length and breadth of Nigeria. So I would say rice and chicken is the major driver, followed by Nigerian dishes. Nigerian, wherever they are in the world, whether in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, they love the natural Nigerian dishes. The soups, the onugbu from Anambra, the ofensala, the likes of afansu from Cross River and all that. So when you take first the chicken and the rice, next is the Nigerian dishes. The pastries contribute marginally, very marginally. Now you need the pastry to drive the sales. You only need the pastry to drive the sales because of the young generations. But basically, sales are derived majorly from rice and chicken, then from Nigerian dishes mostly. Then when you talk about high-end catering services, we talk about foreign cuisines, continental, intercontinental dishes, is where fine dining restaurants are operated. They are also getting very good patronage. So by and large, is a season of celebration, is a season of joy, not only for the restaurant business, but across the major sectors of Nigeria.
Fantastic. And I would like to understand how you're also, managing pricing because, well, according to the data, we've seen, food inflation and headline inflation, trend downward in Nigeria for most of 2025. But, you did talk about rice and chicken. And I see how much the price of chicken, that's live chicken, right now, it costs a lot. I don't know if that, also applies to, frozen chicken, but how are you managing, high cost inputs of some of these proteins? Because it seem quite expensive. How do you navigate that?
It's expensive for 2-3 reasons. The logistic aspect of transporting the chicken from the farm to the table is quite expensive. When you factor in the cost of diesel, when you factor in the cost of logistics, and when you factor in the cost of managing the supply chain, it actually makes the chicken to spike up. That is why it is very difficult to really lower prices now, even though inflation is coming down. There are other ancillary forces that is making it extremely difficult to really crash the price of most of the cuisines, most of the menu item on the table, on the restaurant's list, because a lot of dynamics are involved where pricing is concerned. And that is why it's very important that we a kg of chicken that used to be about 2,400 and something is going for about 4,600 naira per kg now. That is just a kg of chicken. Now, we are grateful to God that rice that used to be 84,000 is going for about 58, 61,000 naira now. So, but basically, chicken is still expensive because the cost of broiler is expensive, about 2,000 naira for a day-old chicks. Then by the time you factor in the cost of feeding those day-old chicks, and you factor in the logistics, the diesel, and bringing it to the table, the cost cannot really be managed well. So that is why the cost of chicken is a bit on the high side. We are looking for a better 2026 in the area of energy coming down. When the energy costs come down, a lot of things will be affected positively, and you can actually see the real impact of the inflation coming down. Not telling too much on the earning capacity of Nigerians. Let's pray that continually this has remained the same thing. Fuel has been coming down. This remain at 1,020 naira, 1,030 naira. In other places, 1,200. And basically, most of the trucks that conveyed chicken from the farm to the table, they are powered by diesel. So this is why the cost has not been able to be possibly impacted to come down. But we believe God that come 2026, there will be a better output, a better pricing template that will really drive the price down. Thank God we have moved from 28.5% food inflation to about 16% inflation now. And we believe that it will go lower as time goes on in 2026.
Yeah, it's even better at about 14%. That's talking about inflation. That's the one for November. We'll definitely be waiting for the December numbers when we enter, January. But, talking about, some of your, input costs at this point, let's imagine you have to choose, between which one comes down, when it comes to costs of inputs to your business. Would you choose energy costs to come down, or would you choose cost of maybe some of the protein, rice, and all of that you use to make these foods? Would you prefer that to come down? If you had to choose, which one would you say, you know what, take this one down, the other one can stay elevated?
The energy mix, the hospitality industry operates a complex energy mix. The diesel factor is there, the fuel factor is there, the gas, the cooking gas is there, and basically, which is the AGO. So what I'm saying in essence is that cost of energy comes down. We don't cook, then you talk about cost of electricity. So those four items are critical to determine the cost at which we sell our product. The diesel cost, the electricity cost by the discos. Then you talk about the gas, the cooking gas we use for cooking, and number 4, the fuel to run the operations, because you have food to deliver from one place to the other. Many people are doing a lot of events. You require fuel, to drive your logistic resources to deliver to your customers. So I would rather prefer that the energy costs come down. If cooking gas costs can come down, diesel can come down, then the cost of electricity per kilowatt, it comes down. Then you can see that basically everything about food costs will come down, and customers will have a better experience for it. Right. I can really assure you of that.
Definitely most of this cost that you've mentioned, I guess at the end of the day, you'd have to pass it on to the consumer, at this point. How resilient would you say, some of your customers are in, absorbing, when you have to pass on the costs, to them?
We are being careful in passing the total cost to customers, we are being very careful because we know that the impact the inflationary trend in the economy is having on the earning capacity of Nigerians. So we are being very careful in passing the total cost to them. What we are trying to do is to sacrifice our margin to be able to accommodate more patronage from our customers. So what do? We use a market-friendly rate that is comparative to, that's why when you get to fast food industries, there is like a benchmark. You can't go below, you can't go above. What I mean is that generally, if you sample the prices, they are almost within the same range. Because if you go too high, based on the cost you are carrying, you'll be out of business. And if you come too low, you won't be able to remain in business. So everybody is trying to strike a balance. And that is why it's important that we strike that balance, help all our customers to keep patronizing us, and at the end of the day, make a little margin that will be able to keep us in business. That's what we've been doing, and that's what we keep doing. But one thing I can assure you, Ladi, and the entire Nigerians is this: come 2026, based on the renewal agenda of Mr. President and all the plans that have been put in place to arrest security issues, to be able to bring people back to the farm, to be able to return IDP camp to resettle them. Once the food are more produced, and we're having a better road because the federal government is investing massively in infrastructure development. This will reduce the cost of transport, and thank God for the refineries. Apart from Dangote refineries, we have other refineries coming down. So Nigeria has a better financial outlook and a better experience come 2026, because at the end of the day, cost will go down. More better experience will all our customers have, and the restaurants will be able to stay in a price template that more people can come in and patronize us.
All right, so, looking at your dishes now, which ones deliver the best margins, during Christmas?
Rice and chicken, sir. That is rice and chicken. Nigeria loves rice. Nigeria love rice, they love their chicken, and that will continue across the hospitality sectors. If you get to the hotel, you check the menu displayed by hotels, chicken is always prominently featured. And in many of the events, catering events, big weddings, big Owambe parties, chicken is one of the major items that is on display. So this rice and chicken play a prominent role in driving up turnover, and they will be able to make more margin. The margin you cannot make in pastry, you compensate for it in rice and chicken.
Yeah, that's quite funny. You remind me of something that happened to me recently. I attended, I think, 2 different events or so in one day. In one event, I had jollof rice. I got to the other one, I had ofada rice. So it was just rice every. I think I'm tired of rice, this season. But I guess some people still love their rice, But do you think family-sized portions, do they outperform individual meals, during the holidays? I see some of you restaurants, you try to, create different packages that can, appeal to, different classes, at this time. How does it look there?
Yeah, so this is the way it is. Take the Promise, for instance. We have everything under the roof. We are a family-focused brand. The Promise is a family-focused brand. A father and a mother comes in with maybe three of their children, and maybe 2 of the children are teenagers, they are Gen Z. Under that roof, the father can have his pounded yam with a goosey soup or with vegetable soup and goat meat. The mother can have a fried rice and chicken. The children can have their burger, they can have their ice cream, they can have their shawarma. So you have something that appeals to a whole family. So when you come into the Promise, for instance, you have everything under one roof. In that way, nobody is left out of the package that we have put together to ensure that everybody has a bite of something very nice at the Promise. Remember, we do nothing but good food.
Fantastic, and people love good food at this point. Let's look at some data now. We see the restaurant industry market size for 2025. We see they've tagged it the $11 billion appetite. That's Nigeria's food service market. 2025 market value about $11 billion, projected 2030 to be about $19.31 billion. Annual growth rates, that's CAGR, that's put at 11.73%. And then we have independent versus chained, restaurants. You have 71% of outlets are independent, like the Bookers, you know, the local sports, you know, so definitely looking at the value size, you know, of restaurant business in Nigeria, would you say you're seeing that much profit, you know, as a player in there?
You can't get the last something. I think Mr. Omiete has two devices simultaneously. One of the devices has to.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. We'll sort that out. You know, just looking at what the data says there, then we see the rise of fast foods. That's quick service restaurants. We have the market share there sitting at 56.38% of all dining out. Average growth, chained outlets expand at 13.2% annually. Top players in the markets there, we see them, you know, generating most, getting most of the chunk of that market. Then cloud kitchen growth, that's 12.3%. Delivery models, delivery-only models. So, you know, definitely, how much value do some of these delivery services, you know, how much value do they add to your business? How do they, you know, help in, you know, reaching families that you cannot reach, you know, that can't come to your spot? How's delivery helping out?
Well, I think the entrance of Chowdeck and Glovo into the delivery space has really changed the narrative to a large extent. We can actually reach more people in the comfort of their hotels or their homes and deliver good food to them. Now, just as we have said, when you look at all these figures as the turnover, the market size for fast food and restaurant business, you discover that in year 2025 alone, restaurant business contributes above 3.8% to Nigeria GDP. And this shows that apart from the non-oil sector, the hospitality industry is one of the major drivers and major growth factor for Nigeria GDP. And that is why government should pay more attention to it. We should be able to encourage the value chain that promotes the turnover and the growth we are seeing today. Now, also bear in mind that we are a major drivers of Nigerian employment, in creating employment for Nigerians across board in the hospitality industry. You have so many chefs, professionals, waiters, event managers, so many things. And the impact on the employment in Nigeria is massive. We also ensure that at least for the growth to continue, we not just encourage those in our value chain system, delivering food to our customers who cannot actually leave the comfort of their hotel or their home to our restaurants. We also want to also see more players coming into that space. And thank God for AI, thank God for technology. Many people can actually stay in their office and order for what they have, and they can be really sure that it will really be delivered to them. So looking towards 2026, we want to see more players coming into the delivery space. Jumia is doing a good job about that before we have the likes of Glovo and Chowdeck coming into play. But we believe that come 2026, we'll see more players so that the food we prepared can get to many, many, many Nigerians at the comfort of their offices, their homes, and if they are visiting their hotels.
All right, you know, definitely I wish you the very best, you know, this season. I hope you make all the good revenue and profit there, and I hope the customers can afford, you know, to eat out and have fun.
We are affordable, Ladi. Very affordable. We are very affordable. You can't afford to outprice yourself from the market. Very affordable, and that's why our customers keep coming back for two reasons. Price is friendly, quality is good all the time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. It was great having you.
Thank
Dr.
you very much.
Oluwatoyin Tajudeen is the CEO, Integrated Catering Services, the owner of the Promise Restaurant Chain. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Ladi. Thank you so much.